We back.
We back.
How many podcasts do we start by saying we back? We back.
I don't know. Last time I started singing we back and we back and we back.
I think you do that every time.
Do I? I don't even realize it.
Or I do Good Morning Baltimore.
Right. But this time it's good evening.
Good night.
Because we're...
That's all the time we have.
Yeah.
Good night, folks.
That's all, folks. Good night. I'm here every Sunday.
I like to say good morning no matter what time we record because I think most people listen like right as it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's morning for... Oh no, only for people in like Pacific time.
Yeah.
My logic is flawed.
But that's the beautiful thing about a podcast is you can listen to it any time you want.
Yeah, but my logic was that I say good morning because people are listening in the morning, but it might not be morning.
Yeah.
I want cookies.
Yeah, me too. I want chocolate, really.
We were planning on making cookies. We went out for dinner to my dad's. And we stayed later than we kind of meant to because we were gonna do like we were gonna start the creepy podcasts. If you guys watched the last one, and we wanted to do some Halloween ones, but we were just too busy and stressed out to do any. So we want to make up for them by doing them anyways, just not at Halloween.
Well, and we both like creepy things, kind of. Like, I follow a few different like subreddits. Like, I stopped following the unresolved mystery ones because they're just like all murders.
Mm.
It's like, it's probably murder. It's like, well, I like enigmas, like things that are weird, unexplainable.
Yeah.
So I started following like The Truth Is Out There, so it could be like paranormal or aliens or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I followed paranormal one, like real ghost stories. Yeah. I like that kind of stuff, but I don't want to like necessarily get scared. I just like being like kind of thrilled a little bit. This Halloween, like this October, I had gotten really into watching like ghost videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like
You're
really,
obsessed.
like I was obsessed. Like every time I was at work too, like because I can watch. There's lots of time at work where I'm just like sitting and doing nothing, so I watch YouTube videos, and there's these guys in the Middle East somewhere. Like I'm not exactly sure, Saudi Arabia mostly. And they live stream themselves going to these haunted abandoned houses. And some of them are really cool, but like started to get to me, I was thinking like they're all exactly the same and really well done, right? So they're probably like, I don't know for sure if they're fake, but like that would be huge if they were real, right? I like the ones that are, sorry, we went off on a complete tangent. We were going to talk about something else.
We went off on a tangent.
I went off on a complete tangent. But I really like the ones that are urban explorers, and then somebody else has taken a bit from the urban explorer video and being like, this wasn't meant to be a creepy video, but like, look at this creepy thing that happened, and they didn't even notice, right? And then the rest of this person's channel, the urban explorer channel, there's nothing creepy on there. They just go to abandoned places. So...
And we really enjoyed watching Mikey, Glam and Gore's Halloween. Like, usually she does Halloween makeup series, but this time she did just like a ghost hunting. She goes hunting. Yeah. She did a ghost hunting series. And it was pretty cool. She visited like the most haunted places.
I really liked that because that's like the best of both worlds for me. It's like Ghost Hunters, which I grew up watching and I really enjoyed, where they're like, we put the science into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But people are always like, the Ghost Hunters are frauds, because there have been times where it's like, apparently they've been proven to like set things up, right?
Yeah, but Mikey wanted to prove that there wasn't ghosts.
Yeah, that was her goal. She was skeptical, but also at the same time, like, she's not like doing it. I keep stroking my mustache. It's super distracting probably for everybody. It's like super addicting. Anyways, it was less of like, it didn't feel like a gimmick.
Well, I didn't feel like she was doing it for attention. It felt like she was doing it because she wanted to, and she was like, why don't I film so you guys can be a part of it?
Yeah, exactly. And it was very, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try and do my best to, like, use this equipment that apparently they use. And here's, like, the best way to say, you know, if there wasn't ghosts, then this is what happened, right?
Yeah.
And usually, like, there were some times when it was like, I don't understand. Like, logic should say that shouldn't happen, right? And I love getting together. Like, I used to do this when I was younger, like, getting together with a group of friends and be like, what if, you know, there was ghosts? And then, like, something free would happen. Everybody gets worked up, right?
Yeah.
That's fun. And, like, I like, now I'm inspired. Like, I want to buy what's it called?
EMF meter?
EMF meter.
I can't stop yawning. I was fine, like, before we started podcasting, and now, I don't know, because we turned off the lights, I'm like...
Yeah. Well, it is...
I'm yawning McNayonison.
10:46 p.m. Yeah.
Can I just mention that we got stopped at a roadblock and got to take a breathalyzer test?
I didn't have to. I said that, yes, I had consumed alcohol, like, a while ago. I was just being honest. He was like, well, I'm going to breathalyze you. The guy was very nice. I blew a big fat zero, right? There was nothing to worry about. But that's the first time I've ever had to do that, and I was really scared.
Had to. I've never even been pulled over or anything.
I've never been pulled over, but that's the second time I've ever been through a roadblock.
Like, the other time was with me as well.
Okay, well,
they were like, anything to drink? And we were like, nope. And they were like, okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, then that's not the second time for me then. Because there was once when I had my learner's license, and my parents had both been drinking, and it was after midnight. And anybody who doesn't know, in BC, with a learner's license, you're not allowed to drive after midnight.
Yeah.
So, from midnight to 5 a.m. So...
Don't feed a learner after midnight.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was driving, and I was driving very short distance from where we were to home.
It was really close then.
And yeah, so... I think my mom hadn't really had anything, but my dad had obviously had something, and so I think I ended up switching with my mom. But the guy was like, you know you're not supposed to drive after midnight, right? I was like, oh, I totally forgot. Even though that wasn't the first time I had done it.
I know, when I had my L, you can't have more than one passenger that's not a family member. And I used to drive, like, Caitlin and Jade around, like my best friend and her partner, and then when they got out of the hospital, no, I had my N then, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the same rules for the N?
Yeah, it's the same rules for the N.
Well, then I couldn't have driven with an L. I wouldn't have driven them with an L because I would have. I don't know. At some point, I broke the law, and I'm sorry.
Well, if you had, it's the same rules with your N, right? So if you
but it wouldn't have been my L because I would need an adult.
Yeah, so I think it would have been your N.
It would have been my N, and I drove them home from the hospital at some point with the baby, and I was like, I have 3 people in my car that are not allowed to be in my car.
Yeah, that you're not related to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I always think like when I think back on it, I'm like, I could have just been like, this is my sister. Right?
Yeah, but
like Caitlin.
They could have been like, well, can I see some ID?
She doesn't have any ID, I don't think. Or she could have been like, I don't have any ID. I always used to do that to get, like, student discounts and stuff. They'd be like, I'd be like, I'm 16, you know, being like 20. And they'd be like, oh, well, can I see some ID? I'm like, I don't have any ID, I'm 16. And they're like, oh yeah, go ahead.
Did you really do that when you were 20?
Not when I was 20, I'm exaggerating.
Okay.
But when I was like 18 or 19, like, you know.
Well, when we dated still then.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I just didn't know about it, that's all. Exposing you. No. You just exposed yourself.
You thought you knew me.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh. People listening are going to be so confused. Oh.
He's clutching his heart.
Yeah.
Distraught.
Pretending to be betrayed.
Yeah.
Nah.
We were going to do a podcast about traumatizing, like, shows from our childhood. And movies, I guess, could work, too.
Yeah.
Because, we wanted to just play a game because it's late and we messed up and didn't do a podcast until the night before. We really want to get back into it seriously and have really good quality, high Highcasts? What am I doing?
Really
Podcasts.
high quality podcast.
Really high quality podcast for you guys. But we suck, okay?
No, we don't suck. We just have busy lives, and
we don't allocate our time well enough.
Yeah, we've both been working more. And it's hard being an adult.
Check out my video, my rant on adulting.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I mean, no, I have a video.
Podcast kids these days. Podcasts adults these days. That's where you have to transition now.
That was bad.
Are we boomers yet?
Okay, Zoomer.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so the movies, the traumatizing movies.
Oh, and I thought that would be easy because we just tried to watch The Dark Crystal. And I'm an adult and that was traumatizing.
Really? I thought it was actually quite interesting.
I hated it. I was so disturbed.
First of all, okay. I'm on the fence. Like, I liked the... No, I'm drawing a blank. No, I liked some parts of it, but for me, the puppetry was just a little bit too... I don't know. Some of it seemed to be done with, like, computer generated, right? With special effects. Visual effects. And then...
other times you'd see the rods on their arms. Like,
or like, you know, they'd blink and it looks like it's the computer that's doing it, right? To make it look more natural. And then they can't, like, all their mouths do is...
Yeah, that really bothered me. Because, like, Sesame Street, it's made by the same guy, right?
Yeah.
Henson? Something?
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson?
Yeah.
They have emotions. Elmo has emotions. Why can't these, like, super high-tech... I was gonna say robots. Puppets in this movie or in this show. Because it's based on the show.
Based on the movie. It's a TV show based on the movie.
TV show based on the 80s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, why can't they convey any emotion at all? There was no emotion in the whole thing. But anyways, these, Skeksis? Is that what they are?
I can't remember.
They're friggin' creepy. Like, look up the Dark Crystal TV show and look at the bad guys. They're really scary.
Yeah.
And there's one that has, like, these big boils on their...
That are constantly oozing, like,
it's
gross stuff. I mean, but it's supposed to be disgusting.
But it's for kids.
Is it really for kids?
The 80s movie was for kids.
Oh, jeez.
It's like Labyrinth. The movie scared me.
Well, when I was a kid, I really liked Starship Troopers. And then as I became an older kid, like, I wasn't, like, 3 or 4. I was 10, and I tried to rewatch it, and it scared the crap out of me. And I would watch it, like, regularly, like, once or twice a year. But then for some reason when I was 10, it started to traumatize me.
You started to actually understand it.
Yeah. And I have a lot more trouble with, like, gore than I used to. Like, when I was a little kid, I didn't really care about gore.
Yeah.
And now it affects me. Like that, we also watched, what was it called? Buster...
Oh.
Scruggs. And I thought it was entertaining, but then there was some gore, and it was like the guy gets his fingers shot off, and I was like, that's too much for me.
Oh, that didn't bother me because it was like CGI.
Oh.
Like I could see it, like he had his hand there, right? And he's like, ah! And then suddenly the finger just goes missing from here. And I'm like, that's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, if it's, like, practical, like,
practical effects?
Yeah, then that, like, I hate seeing, like, the blood, like, the fake blood splatter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hate that. Or, like, if someone's being, like, if the effects are, like, really well done. Like, I'm not saying this wasn't, but it was just, like, it was silly. It wasn't, like,
yeah, and
brutal,
it was meant to be silly.
Yeah.
It was meant to be over the top, right? Nobody gets their fingers shot off from that far away.
No.
Like, on purpose, consecutively. Yeah. I feel like there's other things that I've seen that, like, scarred me.
Oh, for me, my dad took me to see Star Wars Episode 3 in theaters. I had nightmares. I, like, woke up in, like, a cold sweat, like, crying because of the scene of, Natalie Portman's character giving birth to the I don't know why that, like, friggin' freaked me out.
Hmm.
And I had nightmares about that for, like, a week.
The only movies and stuff that would scare me... Oh, okay. When I was a kid, my dad used to watch those cold case shows. Those would scare the crap out of me, and for some reason, it would always be the summertime. Like, maybe they were like popular in summertime. You're hot and sweaty, and, like, you stay up a little bit later at night in the summer.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't go to sleep, and I'm just, like, constantly, like, there's somebody in the closet. There's a murderer in the closet. That kind of thing always gets me. And I have, like, a naturally paranoid mind. So I would always be, like when I was living alone in LA, I know there was no one there. I was living in a studio apartment, but I have to check the closets every night before I go to bed, you know? And then the only other thing that would really scare me, and I'd have to sleep in my parents' room when I was younger, is, like, anything to do with, like, demons. So, like, even when I was, like, I think 15 or 16, I saw one of the Paranormal Activity movies in theaters. I think it was the third one. And that one scared the crap out of me. But it's like, I'm an actor. I know that it's fake. All fake, right?
Yeah. I hate when horror movies say based on true events.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Like, you're already going to scare me. You want to take that away from me? the fact that it's supposed to be fake, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, I'll be right about to fall asleep, and I just think of something, like, really creepy or scary. Like, we watched BuzzFeed Unsolved, and it was, like, this girl who was possessed or something, and they did, like, an exorcism on her, and, like, did she die or something? I don't know. But it was, like, 100 years ago or something. Or maybe she got better. I don't know, but I just remembered it, and I remember, like, they refused to believe that it was, like...
I think I remember that.
That it was actually, like, she was possessed, but then, like, there was no other explanation for it. They just thought that, like, oh, she's under stress or something, you know?
Yeah, like, there was no concept of mental illness back then. So, yeah, that's...
So they tried to diagnose her with, like, an eating disorder and, like all these different, like, you know, things, but then, like, medications weren't making her better, and then they did, like, an exorcism, and that helped or something.
That seemed to help. But then eventually what killed her was she wouldn't eat. So she starved to death. Yeah. And then they thought that that was, like, the demon or whatever inside of her killing her. And I think that was the reason why they were talking about that was because that was, like, the origin of The Exorcist. Like, the story of The Exorcist. Yeah. That's, like, again, like I was saying, like, demon stuff scares me. So, like, whenever something moves by itself, or, like, creaks, or, like, you know, that always scares me.
I think my parents did a good job of not telling me what demons are for a very long time in my life, because I was never afraid of that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't even know it really existed till I was, like, a teenager. What scared me was, like, I don't even know. I just had anxiety, like, whenever, like about sleeping when I was older. Like, I don't know, probably, like, starting at, like, age 9 or 10. I just, like, be like, Mom, I need to sleep in your room. And she's like, why? I'm like, I'm scared. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Just Tam.
Yeah.
And now it's, like, I think of all the, like, embarrassing things that I've done. And that's what keeps me up at night.
I used to only have I had only a phase of that. Like, probably from 13 to maybe 15 or 16. And then I kind of felt like I grew out of it. And now if it's like one specific thing and it's like, it's recent, like it has to be like usually it's something that set me off, like anxiety wise or stress wise. But other than that, it's like, I don't really have that much trouble sleeping. If I'm really stressed, obviously my sleep gets affected. There was only one time where I had, like, actual sleep paralysis, and I think it was directly related to stress.
Sleep paralysis, like, last week.
Yeah. The first time I had sleep paralysis was when I first moved to the U.S., and I think I was just stressed out about that. And I was trying to distract myself, so I was watching BoJack Horseman, and then I had sleep paralysis of this, like, crazy horse monster, like trying to enter my body, enter my soul.
Oh, I just snotted on my own hand.
And I remember being, like, awake and watching it, like, come out of the darkness at me. Like, that was terrifying. And then the next day I was like, okay, yeah, that was sleep. Like I was basically dreaming while being awake.
Yeah.
And yeah, that wasn't actually scary now, but that was scary
your
at the
sleep
time.
paralysis demon.
Yeah, BoJack Horseman is my sleep paralysis demon. I haven't really watched BoJack Horseman since then. That was like 2 years ago.
It's like, The Secret of Nim used to be my favorite movie when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time. And, like, throughout my childhood, like, I had a really hard time tracking it down. Like, so I just never, like, watched it again. But I always thought about it, like, you know, like every few months I'd be like, I want to watch that movie. And then I think you bought it for me. And we watched it, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, first of all, it was nothing like I remembered. And then second of all, it was creepy as heck.
Yeah.
And then I read the book. I didn't know it was a book. And it's like, in the book, it's all, like, science. Like, the rats were experimented on, and they learned to talk, and they, like, it was all, like, scientifically explained and, like, everything. And then in the movie, it's like, they have a magic amulet that helps them talk. And they can, because, like, the plot of it is this mouse is trying to get her house moved, but her son is sick, so she can't. No, she's supposed to move. It's moving day, because the tractor is going to go plow the field, whatever, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And, she can't move her son because her son's sick with pneumonia. So then she goes to the rats to get them to move her house. And then they have this, like, amulet, and it lifts her house for her and moves it. Oh my god, it was the dumbest thing. I was like, seriously? Whereas in the book, they literally physically, like, move it.
Yeah. I wonder if the reason why they ended up changing it to, like, magic was to either simplify it for kids or just be like, you know, I don't believe in science.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought right away. I thought, this is some sort of, like, religious thing? Like, that's almost what it felt like. Like, oppression of science. I don't know.
Yeah, like, changing the original work because you don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm. Oops. And I learned that there's, like, a trilogy, and the writer, this is, like, super weird. The writer is a man. His name is something O'Brien or something. I can't remember, but he came up with the idea and wrote a little bit of the book, and then he died. And then his daughter wrote the rest of the book and published it, and they wrote the other 2 books. But it's, like, in his name.
Interesting.
Yeah. Super weird.
That is weird.
But because the whole time I was thinking, this name, like, of the author has to be a pseudonym, and it has to be written by a woman, because I can just tell, like, you know, I was like, this has to be written by a woman.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was, but...
Huh.
But not in the way I expected. I thought it was a pseudonym.
Yeah. I really should do more research on, like, the authors of things that I read. Right? Yeah.
I love Googling things. I love finding out, like, trivia about people and stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I'll just be like, we'll be watching something, and I'll, like, go on IMDb and, like, look at all the cast of the show and be like, did you know this about this person? And you're like, nope. And I'm like, what about this? And you're like, that's interesting. Let me watch the show. No, you don't say that.
I know.
You're nice. You let me do it.
Yeah.
My hair's so long. I was talking about how tired I was. Now I can't stop talking.
We watched a movie tonight called,
The Laundromat?
The Laundromat, which is all about the Panama Papers, and there was, like, some people in it that I didn't expect to be in it.
Will Forte's in it for 30
in
seconds?
Yeah, and then the other guy who was with him, too, was also, like, a well-known comedic actor. I just don't know his name.
Familiar to me.
But that was another movie that kind of, like, again, I can't handle the gore, so there's a part of it...
Yeah, I had to look away.
When they were talking about the organ harvesting and stuff.
Yeah, I had to...
That really bothers me, but, like, at the same time, it's like, I know that happens in the real world, so I shouldn't be too, like...
And then when they poisoned the guy?
Yeah.
I had to look away, too.
I thought they were going to harvest his organs. Because they were just talking about it, you know? Yeah. I thought they were going to drug him and then harvest his organs.
Well, I knew when they kept giving him drinks, so I was like...
I knew right away when they poured him a scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I know what kind of scotch that is. I didn't want to be annoying, though, and start talking during the movie.
It was a weird movie.
It was a really weird movie because I was like, oh, this is really well done. And then, but the thing is, it took me half the movie to figure out what it was even about. And then it was really meta.
Yeah.
Like, trying to be, like...
Half the time, they're talking to the camera.
Breaking the fourth wall. And then, I don't know, should I say what happens at the end? Okay, spoiler alert. Cover your ears for a second.
Don't listen to the podcast anymore.
Okay, but just the main actress.
Okay, if you're gonna watch it, then and you want to be surprised, which is not surprising. I knew the whole time it was her.
I didn't know that, but no. I'm just saying at the very, very, very end, the main actress breaks character.
Oh,
and basically like talks to the camera as herself, like as the actress.
Meryl Streep
talks to the camera as Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
So
even though she was playing a character the whole movie and hadn't broken the fourth wall the whole movie.
Yeah. So I was like, and I wanted to root for her too during the whole movie. So I was like, why doesn't she?
I couldn't find myself. I couldn't root for her. I don't know why. I just couldn't connect.
I wanted to root for her.
Oh yeah.
Right. I wanted to root for her, but her character wasn't developing. Her character wasn't like planning anything. They didn't give her character any power. Like
she should have been like, I'm gonna do something about it, instead of like they had her being like, oh, I wish something would happen to these people, right? Like,
yeah, she kept saying that over and over again, and then it's like it happened miraculously out of her wish, right? Here and there, like little things, right? And then the other thing is, if you're gonna make a movie about something that happened, but you're not necessarily gonna do like, at this time, this exact thing happened, right? Because there are some movies that are very historically accurate.
Yeah.
This had a lot of like played up some stuff, right? And obviously had some fiction.
And it also like changed timelines too. Like...
Yeah. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna like add a little bit of fiction, at least enrich the story and give the characters more to do and like give it more inspiration.
But like it's not a thing of sexism where they just didn't develop Meryl Streep's character. None of the characters were developed.
No.
At least I found.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know whether it's just Gary Oldman's such a good actor, but I felt like his character had so much.
I really didn't feel like it was that, like...
Yeah?
Honestly, I felt like the most well-developed characters were that family where the dad was sleeping with the roommate.
With the daughter's roommate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I felt like those were the most developed characters in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And they were in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
It was such a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix.
Sorry, guys, if we spoiled any of it for you.
We gave spoiler alerts.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying sorry.
Says the girl who's just making fun of me for saying spoiler alert. Don't listen to the podcast. Yeah. We should do a podcast where we review a movie, though.
That'd be
like, the
fun.
entire podcast is reviewing a movie. If you guys have any like requests on movies that we like, if we just watch a movie and we review it,
it might be fun to do like a bunch of movies. Like if we did a movie series, like just exclusively talk about Harry Potter or like Marvel movies or something.
Yeah. And then we should do it with like, we should both read the same book. And it's like a book
and you
club.
guys read it too.
Yeah, it's like a book. We can give you like 2 or 3 weeks in advance and be like, read this book. We're reading it. And then
tell us what you think.
And then we could have like a collective book club through the podcast.
Well, how about this? You and me have read The Alchemist. You guys read it and we'll all talk about it.
Okay. Sounds good.
No, I'm just...
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of a separate thing. Like, we can review books and stuff, but I don't feel like we should start our own book club online.
Yeah, we are... No, I meant as one podcast. One episode. We already did a episode where we talked about, like, our top 5 favorite books or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's true. So Top 10.
Top 10. And I'm currently gonna add one. Because I'm right now reading Ready Player One, and I actually really like it.
Sorry.
I have a lot of criticisms on the book, but I'm really enjoying the escape into this world.
Very descriptive.
It is very descriptive, and that's a sign of a good sci-fi.
Well, yeah, it's not like descriptive like stuff you don't need.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Well, the beginning of the book is a little bit like that. Anyways, I think we're both tired and we need to go to bed.
Yeah, I want chocolate and to go to bed.
All right.
Oh, it keeps nodding.
They can't tell.
No, but on myself.
Oh. All right. Well, thanks, guys, so much for listening and watching.
That's it. Bye.
That's it. Bye.
No. We will be back with regularly scheduled content that is better than this, and we'll have charities to feature again. I'm sorry that we have been busy and, to be honest, a little bit lazy too. We love the podcast and we love you guys, and we're going to work harder to make it better.
Yeah. Also, just a reminder, the official merch of our channels, like an us in general, like my YouTube channel, Erika's YouTube channel,
It's
our
your
podcast.
baby.
No, I mean, we both worked on it. And so it's our official merch, Valuable Heart. I'm wearing it right now, but it's kind of dark. You can't see it. Anyways, valuableheart.com. Go check it out.
It's a celebration of all the kind people in the world.
It's a celebration of everybody's heart.
Yeah.
Everybody's kindness inside.
You are all valuable.
Yes. And with that, good night.